After 30 days of sacrificing meals for knowledge, the millionaire CEO discovered her amazing story of resilience. Sarah Thompson, a first-generation American, could hardly believe it herself. A few weeks back, she'd been just another face in the bustling diner in Maplewood, flipping pancakes and pouring coffee. But now, after choosing to forego meals to invest in herself, she felt every word of that headline pulse through her veins. Every evening, while the comforting murmur of her family's Lebanese recipes floated through their small home, Sarah was buried under textbooks and computer screens. Her parents, who had worked day and night at the local convenience store, didn't understand why their daughter was pulling away from the warmth of family. They worried about the fire she was kindling within herself, sensing the abandonment hidden behind her drive. "Sarah, your roots are here," her father said one evening, desperation etched in his voice. This was family, love, dreams they built together. But did dreams mean anything if she couldn't have one of her own? With each passing day of her meal-sparing challenge, Sarah felt a tug between ambition and loyalty. The local diner, once her sanctuary, now felt like a cage. Friends she'd grown up with, the ones who shared birthday cake and summer nights at the community center, were slipping away. She wondered if they thought she was chasing some fantasy far beyond their small town, something they wouldn't understand. "Why venture out when we can make our mark right here?" they whispered in quiet tones, shaking their heads. But then came the striking realization that submerged her in guilt. The community center faced demolition, a building rich with laughter and learning the heartbeat of Maplewood. How could she ignore the place that brought her joy? The theater where she performed as a child, the gym where she fostered friendships, it all hung in the balance. What was she truly fighting for? The vision of success without the community felt hollow, empty as the echoes of her childhood laughter dissipated in the AI in the corner of her room. Sarah engaged in her studies, yet every night, the anxiety of losing the community that nurtured her loomed large. Hours spent generating ideas for her fledgling online business, while part of her yearned to return to those days spent dancing with friends at the center. The ambition driving her was fierce, yet her heart ached for the familiarity of home. And then came a glimmer of hope. Unexpected, yet powerful, her childhood friend Lisa had started a petition to save the center. It bloomed like a tree in spring, flourishing where she thought there was only despair. This ignited something inside her, a warmth that battled the cold doubt that paralyzed her ambitions. There was a path that could intertwine these two worlds, but how? Would her community welcome her back with open arms after chasing her dreams far and wide? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she stared at the screen, emotions swirling within her, Sarah could feel the pressure building. Could she balance her dreams with her community? What if the fight to save the center was her chance to prove that success didn't mean leaving everything behind? The question simmered, bold and raw. How do you uplift others while climbing the ladder yourself? With the clock ticking, she felt the walls closing in, right where the heartbeat of Maplewood had once thrived. Our why of community and courage. That morning, Sarah woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. The sunlight streamed through her bedroom window, warming the walls, almost like a promise. She knew today was the day she needed to act. The petition Lisa had started tugged at her heartstrings, whispering that it was time to leave her comfort zone behind. The thought of the community center disappearing felt like an impending storm on the horizon, threatening everything that had shaped her childhood. She hurried to her family's convenience store, the familiar ding of the bell over the door welcoming her back into their world. Her parents were busy restocking shelves, their faces lined with the fatigue that came from endless workdays. Yet, as soon as they saw her, smiles broke through the weariness, illuminating their features. For a fleeting moment, Sarah's heart swelled with love, but an undercurrent of guilt pulsed through her as well. How could she chase her dreams without feeling their sacrifices weighing her down? "Sarah, you're up early," her mom exclaimed, brushing flour from her apron. Taking a breath, Sarah realized it was now or never. "Mom, Dad, can we talk?" She led them to a small table in the back of the store. "The community center is at risk of closing. Lisa started a petition, and I want to help save it." Her father's face darkened. "But, Sarah, you've been focused on building your future. Why go back to that old place?" "Because it's not just about me anymore," she replied, her voice steady. "That community center is important to so many. It's where we found community, joy, our roots. I can't just let it go." Her mother's eyes softened, realizing her daughter had grown up in ways they hadn't seen. "What do you need from us?" she asked quietly. Sarah felt relief wash over her. "I need you to help spread the word. I want to host a fundraiser, something big to draw people in." Her father nodded slowly, the corners of his mouth lifting. "You're right. We can use the store to host the event. Share your story. Connect with the people." Excitement bubbled inside her. "We'll turn this into something amazing." And just like that, the fire between them reignited. They threw ideas around, laughter filling the space. And for the first time in weeks, Sarah felt whole again, her dreams wrapped around the pulse of her home. Later that day, she posted on social media, detailing their plans for a fundraiser, urging friends and community members to join the revival of the center. As the likes and shares began to pop up, a sense of hope replaced her anxiety. People were reaching out, expressing their intent to help. But then, a knot of dread formed in her stomach as she checked her messages. Among the supportive comments, a familiar name surfaced. Mark, the guy from her old friend group who had always held a different perspective. His first words were sharp. "Why waste your time on this? Go chase your dreams instead." The weight of doubt suddenly pressed down on her. Was she going back into the fray only to be met with skepticism? What if she failed? As she stared at the screen, her heart raced. Would she let this negativity derail her? Or could she rise above, proving not only to Mark, but to herself that chasing dreams and preserving community could go hand in hand? Determined, Sarah turned off her phone and took a deep breath. Tomorrow, she would meet with Lisa and the team. Together, they would plan. But would Sarah have what it takes to face the crowd and rally them to a cause that mattered deeply? Her chest tightened with anticipation. It was time to step into the light. The morning dawned with a warmth that felt like a promise, but as Sarah stepped into the sun-drenched street, doubt lingered around her like a shadow. She'd spent all night tossing and turning, haunted by Mark's message. His words echoed in her mind, questioning her commitment to a community that felt like home. Even so, she recalled her parents' eager expressions and their willingness to support her cause. Sarah squeezed her eyes shut, grounding herself. Today was for action. She needed to meet Lisa and the team planning the fundraiser. The thought filled her with both thrill and anxiety. As Sarah arrived at the community center, she was greeted by laughter and chatter. Friends and neighbors were bustling around, organizing supplies and brainstorming ideas. The walls adorned with old photographs glimmered under the afternoon light, each image a story of lives intertwined, milestones achieved, laughter shared. It reminded her why she thought these people were family. "Hey, Sarah." Lisa waved her over, her face flushed with excitement. "We've got some great ideas brewing. Let's South take this place back." Tension began to ease as Sarah joined them. She poured her heart into the planning discussions, suggesting games, food stalls, and even a talent show featuring local artists. Voices rose and fell like a wave, filled with energy. Ideas bounced from one person to another, laughter punctuating every brainstorm. This was a moment she felt alive, but then Lisa looked serious, her brow furrowing. "We need to attract a big crowd. We need something that will grab everyone's attention. What about bringing in some local musicians?" Sarah suggested, her thighs pressed together nervously. "We can create a little stage outside. It's something the kids will love, and it showcases what we have here." Lisa nodded enthusiastically. "That could work. I can reach out to a few friends and see if they can help." Just then, Sarah's heart sank again as one of their neighbors, Mrs. Thompson, chimed in, her voice shaky. "I'm worried. What if we don't raise enough funds? Maybe we should just give up." A hush fell over the group, the air thickening with doubt. The feelings that had swirled through Sarah the night before began to creep back. Was it her imagination, or could she drown out the voices pressing her to abandon the project? But then she remembered the glimmers of hope her parents, the laughter shared over ideas, and the warmth of the sun pouring through the hall. Reaching for her courage, Sarah stood tall. Every great dream feels daunting at first. We can't let fear take over. Let us prove to ourselves that this matters, that we matter. We have to fight for this. Hope mixed with determination. Slowly, smiles began returning. Yeah, someone shouted. Let us show them what we can do. As applause filled the room, Sarah's heart soared. Maybe, just maybe, they could pull this off. That night, exhaustion sunk into her bones, but she felt fulfilled. As she lay in bed, her phone pinged with another message. It was Mark. I didn't mean to discourage you. I know you're passionate. Just worried you might be spreading yourself too thin. Was he actually coming around? But more than that, Sarah began to wonder, could she balance her own ambitions with her commitment to the community? What would happen if the fundraiser exploded in success? As she flipped her phone shut, sleep came easy, yet the questions floated in her mind, ready to challenge her resolve the following day. Tomorrow, they would kick off their fundraising efforts. Would the community rally behind them, or would their own doubts sabotage the progress they were trying to forge? Only time would tell. The sun rose the next morning, casting golden rays through Sarah's bedroom window. She woke up feeling a mix of hope and dread. Today was the day. With determination brewing in her chest, she jumped out of bed and made herself a strong cup of coffee. She needed the caffeine to propel her forward. A tea breakfast. Her parents noticed her uncharacteristic energy. You're up early, her dad remarked, a hint of a smile on his face. Big day ahead. Sarah nodded, unable to hide her excitement. Yeah, the fundraiser. I think we can really make a difference. Her mother reached across the table, taking her hand. Just remember, honey, we're proud of you, no matter what happens. It's about the community. That simple phrase settled in her heart. It was easy to get lost in the notion of success, but in the end, what mattered most was the connection they all shared. Arriving at the community center, Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline. The air buzzed with excitement. Tablecloths were being laid out, banners hung low, and children raced around, adding to the joyous chaos. It all looked perfect. Sarah. Lisa waved her over, gesturing to a group setting up the stage. We're ahead of schedule. The musicians are coming, and people are already arriving. Sarah gulped. That's great. What about the volunteers for the booths? Right here. A few neighbors, dressed in matching t-shirts, approached with big grins. It felt like family again. As they set up the food stalls and games, Sarah's senses were on overdrive. The smell of fresh popcorn and cotton candy wafted through the air, mingling with laughter. It was a slice of happiness that reminded her of simpler times. However, as the hours passed, people started to trickle in, but it wasn't enough. The nagging voice of doubt crept back in. Was she fighting a losing battle? Hey, Sarah, Lisa said quietly, her brows knitted in concern. I think we need a rallying cry. Something to really draw them in. Sarah's heart raced. She looked around, watching the couple of families enjoying the festivities, a flicker of something sparking in her chest. We need a moment, a showstopper. Like what? Lisa asked, her eyes wide. We get everyone involved. Grab the kids and have them do a parade through the center. Just shout it out, bring people in. Bring the energy. Lisa's face lit up. Let us do it. They began to organize a loud, vibrant parade. Children adorned with colorful balloons emerged, laughing and dancing. They cheered, voices echoing as they pulled parents and neighbors from their cozy corners, creating a ripple of excitement. As Sarah watched the crowd grow, a wave of gratitude washed over her. She could feel the energy shift. People were smiling, sharing in the joy. Her heart swelled as she realized they weren't just raising money. They were weaving a tapestry of connection. But as she watched the laughter unfold, her phone buzzed. It was Mark again. Everything okay? I saw some posts. Looks fun, but are you keeping balance? She frowned, the weight of his words affecting her. Could she really balance her ambition with all of this? Just then, Lisa's voice broke through her thoughts. Sarah, it's working. Look at everyone. We're going to do this. Sarah looked up and saw families lining up at food stalls, children laughing, and life buzzing. You're right, Lisa. This is what it's all about. Yet, somewhere in the back of her mind, Mark's words lingered. Did she have what it takes to follow her dreams without losing herself in the process? As the crowd cheered and the music played, she fought to push aside the doubts. The parade circled back to the stage, and Sarah shared a determined smile with Lisa. This day is ours. But what if? What if we can't keep this going? Just as they began to strategize, a figure appeared at the edge of the crowd, someone she hadn't expected to see. Mark. It was time for answers. What was he doing here? The crowd buzzed around Sarah as she locked eyes with Mark. His presence was unexpected, sending a jolt of mixed emotions through her. Her heart raced, and not just from the excitement of the fundraiser. What was he doing here? Did he want to support her, or was it just another moment to tell her she was burning out? As he made his way closer, Sarah forced a smile. Mark, you came. He smiled back, but it was tinged with a seriousness that made her stomach knot. I wouldn't miss it. I wanted to see you in action. Action. Sarah chuckled nervously, feeling her cheeks warm. I'm just trying to keep everyone engaged. Mark glanced around, taking in the vibrant scene. Kids were still laughing, adults were chatting, and the air was still thick with the sweet smell of treats and fresh-cut grass. Looks like you're doing a great job, but is it enough? Her stomach dropped. What do you mean? Just remember why you're here, he said, his tone softer now. You've got a vision, but trying to keep up with it all alone can be overwhelming. You don't have to carry everything on your own. Maybe he was right. The truth of his words sat heavy on her shoulders. She wanted to lead, to inspire, but what did it mean if she lost herself in the process? Mark, I appreciate your concern, but this event is important. It's not just about numbers, it's about community. Of course, he replied, sincerity in his eyes. I'd never downplay that. Just don't forget that communities grow stronger when leaders know how to lean on others. The weight of his words clouded her mind. They stood in the swirl of the event, laughter echoing in the background, the thumping rhythm of the band keeping the energy alive. But underneath it all, her heart felt heavy, like she was trying to juggle too many things at once. Hey, do you want to help? She asked suddenly, desperate for his support, a way to bridge the gap between them. You could help with the donations table, or he nodded, gratitude flickering in his eyes. I'd love to. As they worked side by side, Sarah felt the tension between them ease slightly. Yet, with each passing moment, a nagging voice in her mind would not quiet. Was she risking everything by focusing solely on this event? Or was she simply allowing herself to enjoy it for what it was right then and there? Can I ask you something? Mark said, interrupting her thoughts. What about after today? What are your plans? Where's your focus? Sarah stopped, her heart racing. After today? Was she thinking that far ahead? I don't know. I guess I thought I'd see how this goes first. Maybe your vision is bigger than just this one day, he suggested quietly. What if you extended it? Built on this foundation you're creating right now? His words lingered in the air, thick and heavy with possibilities. Sarah felt a spark of excitement mixed with fear. Could she envision something larger, something that connected all these moments into a greater purpose? Maybe she murmured, contemplating the idea of building on the community's energy beyond this event. Just then, laughter erupted from a group of children tugging at her attention. They beckoned her to join in, and she felt the call. Let us talk more later? She asked Mark, taking a step away. Definitely. I'll be here, he assured her, watching as she dove back into the sea of laughter and happiness. As she joined the children, dancing and cheering, her heart swelled with a new possibility. But a sense of uncertainty crept in, worrying at the edges of her joy. What did the future hold? And did she actually have what it takes to follow this path? Just as she began to lose herself in the moment, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd. Sarah turned, heart racing, to see what was happening. She spotted a small family on stage with a big check. Had they just reached their goal? But then, amidst the excitement and applause, Mark's voice broke through the chaos. Sarah, I think you need to see this. What could it be? Her heart leaped, hope and fear intertwining as she rushed towards him. What was unfolding now could change everything. As Sarah made her way through the throng, the joyous noise of the event faded slightly as her focus narrowed. She could see Mark standing near the stage, his expression a mix of urgency and excitement. Her pulse quickened. What was so important? She pushed through a group of festival goers, her thoughts racing. What if this was about the funds? Had something gone wrong? Or maybe it was good news, some unexpected boost to the donations? The uncertainty was gripping, each step feeling heavier as she closed the distance. Mark gestured to the stage, where the small family was still basking in the overwhelming applause. A cheerful woman with 2 children clutched an enormous check, glimmering under the afternoon sun. They just reached their fundraising goal for their community center, he said, his voice filled with a contagious joy. Can you believe it? Sarah felt a rush of relief and happiness wash over her. That's incredible. Mark nodded, his eyes sparkling. They're going to be able to build a safe place for kids to hang out and learn after school. This is what it's all about, right? Yes. This is exactly why I wanted to do this event, she exclaimed. The weight on her shoulders lightened, a glow of purpose igniting within her. But deep down, beneath that happiness lingered doubt. Could she create that kind of energy on a bigger scale? As they both stood there, catching the shared enthusiasm from the crowd, Sarah caught sight of something else. Over to the side, a group of young volunteers who had helped set everything up were gathered, chatting animatedly. The buzz in their voices hinted that they were also eager to play a part in what came next. Her heart swelled. Maybe it was about more than just her vision. Look at how inspired everyone is, Mark continued, his voice drawing her back to the moment. You've catalyzed this. Me? She looked at him, fear creeping back in. What if I can't sustain it? What if I drop the ball? He placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Think of this as a jumpstart. You don't have to know every step right now. Just embrace this moment and what you've created here. The excitement is in the possibilities. Just then, a child ran up to her, tugging at her sleeve. Miss Sarah, will you come back and help us paint our mural? It's going to be so cool. Sarah laughed, the warmth spilling over into her heart. Of course. I wouldn't miss it. As they raced back to the kids, she felt Mark's gaze follow them. He smiled, an encouraging nod that made her heart flutter. Perhaps he believed in her more than she believed in herself. Now fully immersed in the laughter and creativity of the children, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. The doubts began to fade, replaced by energy and ideas swirling in her mind. She could build something incredible from this foundation, extend the happiness beyond today. But just as she began to sketch plans for future events in her mind, the DJ announced a special raffle. Sarah hadn't even thought to organize one. The crowd shifted, eager voices buzzing again. Had she missed out on an opportunity to engage even more? Sarah, Mark's voice cut through the noise again, snapping her from her thoughts. You've got to jump in. This could be a chance to rally everyone. What do you think? Her heart raced anew, clarity washing over her. You're right. Let us do it. Eagerly, they hurried to the microphone together. As Sarah prepared to gather everyone's attention, she felt the collective energy surge around her, the hope of what could be reflected in countless shining eyes. But could she really pull this off? The stakes were higher now, and a pit of fear in her stomach threatened to swallow her. Are you ready for this? She whispered to herself, breathless. Mark squeezed her hand reassuringly. With a deep breath, she stepped forward to the mic. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We have a surprise raffle in store, but I need your energy. Let us make it count. What if this was just the beginning of something much bigger? Would she be able to rise up to the challenge and create the change she envisioned? And as the crowd erupted into cheers, Sarah could only hold on to that uncertainty tightly. Because sometimes, embracing a leap into the unknown is where the magic truly begins. As Sarah stood at the microphone, the cheers from the crowd enveloped her like a warm blanket. The energy surged forward, electric and pulsating, filling the space around her. She could feel each heartbeat in unison, the collective hope of everyone gathered, all focused on this moment. She took a deep breath, the scent of popcorn and cotton candy mingling in the air. Let us get this raffle started, she called out, her confidence bolstered by the enthusiastic response. She could see Mark smiling proudly, and that fueled her determination. The flutter of nerves in her stomach began to settle as she thrived on the excitement. This was more than just a raffle. It was a chance to reinforce their purpose, to solidify a community that believed in each other. As she explained the rules, the crowd leaned in, eager to hear more. Each ticket sold promised a future filled with hope, tangible support for the projects that mattered. Sarah scanned the sea of faces, each one a story of aspiration and determination. She could feel the stakes rising, the significance of what they were doing cracking open something larger than all of them. Every ticket you buy today not only enters you into a fantastic raffle, she said, her voice ringing with passion, but it also empowers families in our community to achieve their dreams. The audience erupted into applause again. Fueled by her own words, Sarah felt like a spark igniting a fire she had long hoped to see. There was power in their unity, a faith in shared goals that made the weight of her worries feel lighter. But just as her heart soared, a thought crept back, and could she keep this momentum going? What if this was a momentary rush? Scrambling to harness the elation of the crowd, she continued, "You all are the reason we can make a change. Together we can create places where kids can learn, grow, and play safe." Laughter and cheers echoed back at her, each one reinforcing something deep in her core. She was no longer just an organizer. She had transformed into a leader, a beacon for a cause. As she spun the excitement into a collective experience, she suddenly felt the weight of her vision, the vision that had made her sacrifice so much for this day, transform into tangible hope. Meanwhile, Mark moved through the crowd, encouraging donations and excitement, his movements full of purpose. The sight of him, tireless and dedicated, pushed Sarah even further. Then, with a sudden burst of noise, a commotion at the edge of the festival, her heart dropped. A mother was frantically calling for her child, her face a picture of panic. The joy of the moment shattered. "Where is she? I can't find Emily." The woman called, her voice tipping into desperation. Gasps rippled through the crowd, and Sarah's heart raced. This was a reminder that while they were celebrating a communal victory, life continued to throw challenges. Without a second thought, Sarah jumped down from the stage. "I'll help you find her," she shouted, adrenaline propelling her forward. The peaceful atmosphere now felt charged with urgency. As she moved through the waving mass of bodies, she felt her heart pounding, not just with fear, but a newfound determination to protect the joy they had all rallied for. Every second counted now. Would she be able to bring the child back to her mother? Could she handle keeping the spirit of the festival alive, even when faced with such a crisis? And as she searched, weaving through the crowd, her thoughts mixed with fear and hope, would this moment challenge her in ways she hadn't expected? What would it take to truly create a safe haven for this community, both in celebration and in times of need? With every second ticking away, the answer felt closer than ever. The crowd shifted and swelled around Sarah, a tide of anxious faces and searching eyes. She pushed through, calling out, "Emily, can anyone help me? We need to find her." Every heart seemed to pound as one, every person engaged in the hunt for the lost girl. A knot tightened in Sarah's stomach. Thoughts raced. Was Emily scared? Where could she be? The festival, previously vibrant and full of laughter, felt heavy with worry now. Mark appeared beside her, his own face lined with concern. "What do we know?" he asked, scanning the area. "She was last seen over by the games," Sarah informed him, looking in that direction. But even as she spoke, doubt crept in. What if Emily had wandered further? "Let us split up," Mark suggested. "You check the games area, I'll ask around the food stalls." "No, I'll check the games," Sarah insisted, her voice louder than she wanted it to be. "You take the deeper parts of the crowd. We'll cover more ground that way." Mark nodded, his expression serious but supportive. He set off, weaving into the throng, while Sarah pressed on toward the colorful booths, calling the little girl's name. Her heart raced as she approached the games. Brightly lit stands beckoned, but the joy of competition felt muted now. The laughter of children playing seemed distant, almost mocking in comparison to the urgency she felt. She pushed past a few games, the excited cheers of winners fading away until she reached the ending point, where a few tired parents were chatting with one another. "Excuse me," she interrupted. "Have any of you seen a little girl named Emily? She's about 6, wearing a yellow dress?" Shaking heads surrounded her, and panic fluttered in her chest again. But just then, she caught sight of a familiar figure on the sidelines, a woman with curly hair, comforting a small girl cradled in her arms. Sarah rushed towards them, her breath hitching in her throat. "Emily!" she cried, joy flooding through her like a tidal wave. The little girl turned, teary-eyed but safe. She broke into a smile at the sight of Sarah, and suddenly all the fear vanished. The mother set her down, and Emily rushed towards Sarah, throwing her arms around her waist. Relief washed over Sarah, and she knelt to embrace her tightly, emotions swirling in her chest. "Oh, sweetie, I was so worried." The little girl pulled back slightly, her eyes wide. "I wanted to play but got lost," she whispered, clearly still shaken. The mother approached, her expression a mix of gratitude and fear. "Thank you for looking for her. I was panicking." "No problem at all," Sarah replied, still holding Emily's hand tight. Just glad she is safe. As the crowd began to settle back into its routine, Sarah felt the energy lift around her. Mark appeared, his face bright with worry transforming into relief as he saw Emily. "Thank God," he said quietly, coming close. The two shared a moment, a silent acknowledgement that echoed stronger than words. They had faced a storm together, reinforcing the bond that had begun to grow between them. But as Sarah looked at the crowd, laughter starting to return, another thought sparked in her mind. Would this experience change the way they approached their mission? Could they create systems that not only celebrated moments of joy, but could also respond to the unexpected? As they moved back towards the main area, Sarah knew this wasn't just an event anymore. It was a catalyst for something greater. And just then, a shout rang out from the festival's center, startling her. "We have a surprise announcement coming up. Everyone gather around." Curiosity piqued, Sarah turned to Mark. "What do you think it could be?" He shrugged, excitement glimmering in his eyes. "Whatever it is, I have a feeling it's going to be something we won't forget." As they headed toward the stage, anticipation bubbled within Sarah. What could possibly await them now, and how would it shape the rest of their day? The thrill of community was rekindling, and her heart raced once more, ready to embrace whatever came next. The afternoon sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the festival grounds as people began to gather around the central stage. Sarah and Mark joined the crowd, their excitement mingling with the remnants of adrenaline that clung to them from the earlier scare. Everyone buzzed with speculation, and the air thickened with an infectious energy. "Do you think it's a contest?" A woman nearby whispered to her friend. "Or maybe someone else winning a big prize." Mark's eyes sparkled with intrigue. "Maybe they're announcing a guest speaker or a new attraction for next year. This festival just keeps getting better." As the noise of the crowd reached a crescendo, a figure stepped onto the stage, a charismatic announcer with a broad smile, exuding warmth. The murmured chatter quieted, all eyes fixed on him. Sarah could feel her heart flutter with anticipation. "Welcome, everyone," he boomed, his voice clear and commanding. "Thank you for being here. We have something very special planned today." The crowd erupted in cheers, a wave of sound washing over the field. Sarah's stomach fluttered anew, this time with thrill rather than worry. With every clap of excitement, she found herself inching closer to Mark, a subtle instinct drawing them together. "We're here to celebrate not just our festival, but the power of community," the announcer continued, gesturing animatedly. "And to show you how the connections we form can lead to incredible transformations." He paused as the audience absorbed his words. A moment later, he introduced a local hero, someone who went above and beyond to serve the community. A burst of applause erupted, sending shivers of inspiration through Sarah. She glanced at Mark, who mirrored her sparkling enthusiasm. Then, in the revealing moment that would anchor the entire event, a surprising twist unfolded. "And now," the announcer intoned, "we have a surprise for one lucky attendee. A chance for a unique experience that will precisely highlight the spirit of our community." The announcement hung in the air, tantalizing. Sarah exchanged glances with Mark, both of them veiled in a shared intrigue. The announcer produced a golden envelope and continued. "Inside this envelope is a special invitation for a weekend retreat focused on community engagement and growth. Whoever's name is drawn will experience a unique opportunity to delve deeper into why we're all here today." The crowd murmured, excitement igniting a spark of expectation. Sarah felt a flicker of ambition stir within her. What if it was her name that would be called? "Drawing begins now," the announcer shouted. Holding up a large horn, the crowd inhaled collectively as he plunged his hand into a bowl filled with slips of paper. They watched intensely, and time felt suspended. When he slowly pulled out the first slip, seconds stretched into an eternity. With each name read, the anticipation deepened. It felt like an emotional game of roulette, and Sarah's heart was in her throat. Then, it happened. The announcer looked up, his eyes sweeping across the crowd, before finally landing on Sarah. "And the winner is Sarah Thompson." Gasps erupted around her, disbelief mingling with excitement. Sarah's breath caught. "Wait, me?" she gasped, momentarily frozen. Mark turned to her, his expression a mix of pride and astonishment. "Wow, this is incredible." Emotions vibrated within her. Could it really be her? She took a step forward, her heart pounding as encouragement from the crowd washed over her. As she reached the stage, a flurry of thoughts raced through her mind. What opportunities lay ahead? What changes could this bring? But deeper than that, uncertainty knotted in her chest. The stakes felt high. The announcer handed her the golden envelope, and a hush fell over the crowd as she ripped it open. Inside was an invitation to the retreat, alongside a note that read, "This is only the beginning." What did that mean? What would come next? As she glanced out at the expectant faces around her, Sarah felt the weight of their hopes and dreams pressing against her. And deep down, she knew this was more than just a personal milestone. It was a call to action, a chance to embrace a mission that could change her and her community forever. What lay ahead in that retreat? What transformations awaited her? The questions lingered, electrifying the air as Sarah stood on the cusp of an unexpected journey. As Sarah stepped off the stage, enveloped in the buzz of applause, her heart raced wildly. This moment was surreal, an unexpected culmination of sleepless nights and selfless sacrifices. It felt as if the universe had shifted, aligning her ambition with the needs of her community. Her thoughts whirled. What would the retreat bring? Would it take her closer to her dreams while allowing her to nurture the very roots she fought to preserve? Mark caught up with her, a radiant smile breaking across his face. "Sarah, you did it. This is huge. Thanks. But I can't help wondering what's the real purpose of this. I mean, it's not just a prize, right?" Her mind danced with possibilities. "No way. This is a stepping stone," he assured her, the sincerity in his voice grounding her. "You've already inspired so many people today. Imagine what you could do with this opportunity." Her heart swelled at his words. Could she really leverage this experience to make a lasting impact? She recalled her childhood dream of creating a safe space for kids to thrive, where laughter and learning intertwined. Determination surged within her. "You're right. This could open doors for everyone in Maplewood," she declared, a newfound fire igniting her spirit. As the day wound down, Sarah and Mark made their way through the festival. The air buzzed with energy, families congratulating her, laughter spilling from every corner. The success of the fundraiser echoed in their smiles, yet the deepening bond she felt with Mark left her breathless. "Let us keep this momentum going," Sarah said suddenly, her mind racing with ideas. "What if we host monthly events? Workshops, youth programs, anything that keeps this spirit alive?" Mark nodded, clearly on board. "I see it now. You could channel your energy into community-driven projects. You already have the support to make it happen." And just like that, Sarah's vision sharpened. With each passing moment, she could see the blueprint for a brighter future taking shape, not just for her, but for Maplewood. The retreat would equip her with more than tools. It would gather insights to build a thriving community together. Later, as the stars twinkled in the night sky, Sarah sat on her front porch, her parents nearby, animatedly recounting the day's events. The warmth of familial love bathed her in comfort. "I am so proud of you, Sarah," her mother said, tears glimmering in her eyes. "You've done an amazing thing." "I feel like this is just the start," she replied, her heart full. "I want to make sure Maplewood becomes a place where every voice matters." Overwhelmed with gratitude and purpose, Sarah knew her appetite for finding balance had transformed. It was no longer a contest between her dreams and loyalty to her roots. They were intertwined now, like vines circling a sturdy oak tree. As the festival lights shimmered and the laughter echoed softly in the distance, she felt the dreams she once held close come alive again, knitting together the threads of the community's hopes. But more than dreams, Sarah realized she had ignited a flicker of courage in those around her. All it took was a voice prepared to stand up for what mattered. And soon, she would return from the retreat with not just tools, but a vision that transformed not only her dreams, but an entire community. Looking up at the captivating night sky, Sarah smiled, knowing that tomorrow she would take this spark into the world. "Now's the time for real change," she whispered, excitement bubbling within her. And as she drifted to sleep that night, Sarah felt more than ever that she was exactly where she was meant to be, ready to embrace every challenge and every joy the future held. To everyone who watched Sarah's transformative journey, know that you too can take action for your dreams, whether it's your community, your career, or your own personal growth. So here's the call to action. You need to subscribe now to never miss another inspiring story like Sarah's. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share this incredible moment with others. Comment your thoughts about Sarah's journey and how you feel about her future path, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. It could spark their journey. 2. Don't wait not even one more second to support this channel and be part of something bigger. Every action counts.